So my Tesla's in for some warranty work, and I got this 2016 Tesla Model S 85 kilowatt hour. So I thought we'd take a quick look at it. That might help some of you that are thinking about buying a slightly older Tesla Model S. So we start off by going around the exterior. There's a few things that we'll notice. So obviously we've got this kind of black pre-facelift grille. So some people prefer that style over the others. Personally, I prefer the facelift style. You can see the radar down here as well on this one, and you also have different headlights. So on the newer Model S's you've got LED lights, and these are using I think Xenons on here. So apart from the headlights and the front here, externally, aesthetically, everything is the same. The radar is different, and the ultrasonics are different in the pre-facelift cars, actually the pre-hardware 2.5 AP2 cars. As mentioned in one of my other videos, one of the easiest ways you can tell if it's an AP1 or AP2 car is up here. So there's a single camera in here, and you can see this triangular shape, whereas in a hardware 2 cars you have 3 cameras. Also we'll see in the side repeater here there is no camera in here, just a single side repeater, and in the B pillar as well there's no camera in here. So again, these are the indications of how you can tell it's an AP1 car versus an AP2 car. Also something slightly different on this car, which have changed now. So you no longer have this extra caliper here. So this is for the handbrake. So on the newer cars, they don't have this anymore, just the standard caliper. Teslas don't come with locking wheel nuts, but this loaner car has them on, I guess, to stop someone deciding to run off with these 19-inch alloys. It's so windy today. Hopefully the wind muffs are doing their job. From the back, everything is still the same as mentioned. This is 85 kilowatt hour, so it's a rear-wheel drive car. This car has the premium sound system like mine, so you can see here the subwoofer taking up that space, but in the other side here we still have the gap where we can store things, and underneath here obviously the Tesla charging cable, which I notice, good job I didn't, oh no, they got it. So you can charge up, no problem. We'll have a look in under the bonnet, so you can see the storage there, which is slightly bigger on these older cars that were rear-wheel drive only. Ugh. Okay, so on the dual motor cars and then the facelift cars, this is all kind of blocked off because there's another motor in there, and you also got the bio defense weapon filter in there as well. But on this car, which is a rear-wheel drive car, unlike mine, which is also rear-wheel drive, this is all boxed off, you had extra storage in there as well. So a little bit of ability to store more things in this front space in the older rear-wheel drive Tesla Model S. Okay, so if we jump into the back here, you'll see these are the older generation rear seats. It's basically just a flat bench all the way along, and there's also a little bit more leg room in the sense that there's no charging ports or cup holders in the back on the older models. So that's something you can see if you look at my other video on kind of buying a used Model S. It shows some of the differences about these different seats and the options as well. Also sitting in the back of this car, so it doesn't have the glass roof or a sunroof like my car has, so you have a little bit less headroom in the back here. So I'm 5'10", and my head is touching the ceiling. So I obviously could do a trip in this car, but I wouldn't say it's kind of super relaxing. I'd have to kind of scooch back a little bit and have to kind of put my head in there. But apart from that, the seats are comfortable. The flat bench and everything, it's comfortable enough and it's supportive. Just not loads of headspace when you don't have the glass roof. Okay, so when we look on the inside, I have to put a note below on what generation of seats these are. I think they're the premium seats. The car's done 56,000 miles. And obviously it's a loaner, so probably not the most cared for vehicle in the world. But the seat wear is actually pretty good. Obviously you can see there's a little bit of leather wear, but it's not too bad. Even on the bolster there, bit of a good clean and a black dye. That looked fine. So yeah, the seats are comfortable though. It has the newer dash layout. So the cars, I think maybe prior to this, so 2015, 2014, had an older kind of main dash screen. But everything else here looks very similar to mine. Let me just jump in behind the wheel and we'll talk a bit more about the internal styling here. Okay, so now we're inside. Ready to some aesthetics things. So this is, don't know, some sort of walnut wood dash styling, I guess. Not to my taste, but I'm sure some people like it or they wouldn't have it. Again, in terms of mirror wise, everything looks very similar. The main difference in the older cars is the lack of center console. So whereas in like my car, we have this extra space with the kind of charging cables and things here, and it kind of comes out from about here, because here's some charging cables, and I have, you know, these extra cup holders and things here, whereas here you don't. You just have this massive area, open space. It does actually make the feel of the inside much more open. In some ways I do like it, but I think it get annoying if you got things, you know, swishing around in there. So I know some third-party providers do provide a center console that you can kind of slide and fit into this space, which will then give some additional storage up here. But you still have the cup holders in the standard spaces here, as well as the cubby hole underneath the main screen. But everything else in here is kind of pretty standard. So all the different controls. The main things I've noticed are this traction control button. I don't think I've got that on my car. I can't remember, but I feel like that is either always on or something. I don't remember seeing that. The headlight lowering, obviously because I've got LEDs, this is happening automatically, so I don't have that option either. Like I say, this car has got Autopilot, so this is kind of as to be expected in its AP1. Smart preconditioning. I've got something different there, haven't I? I'm trying to think now. Auto wipers. I have an auto wipers option, which this car seemed to have it when it was raining earlier. I'm sure the wipers were automatic, but maybe not. Maybe it's by default or something. I'm not too sure. And then everything else seems to be as expected. One thing I did notice actually on the way back, and I have to compare to mine when I get it. So obviously this car is a slightly larger battery. It's got slipstream wheels on it, but you can see in the picture that isn't the wheels I think this car was spec'd with. But I did notice that I guess I kind of had forgotten about, because I had these same wheels on my car. There is definitely a reduced road noise, and the car did seem to be kind of more efficient. So we see here in the 53 miles I did, 268 watt hours, and it had come down, like the average over the last 15 miles was 245. Not sure if you can see that. Try and zoom it in a bit. And I think my car was, I mean, it's colder when I left this morning. It was up in the 300 and something. So I know that the larger wheels add road noise and decrease the range a little bit. because they're wide and everything as well, but just interesting to note that for myself. 56,811 miles. It still drove really smoothly. I mean, it's a 2016 car, it's not a really old car. I guess for me it just feels a bit more dated with the front, but again, that's personal preference. If you prefer the different front, you might like it more. The other obviously difference here is the Alcantara on the dash, whereas mine is all leather. Here we have Alcantara across this bit over here, and then sweeping across. It's like a 50-50 leather Alcantara setup. Also, I have Alcantara inside these kind of pocket linings, whereas this is just plastic. But so yeah, pretty much everything is kind of the same in this car. I'm actually, I don't know why I'm surprised it is good. I guess in my head, I thought they made a lot of changes. I mean, Tesla have made a lot of changes from the 2016 to 2017 model, like the seats and everything. So I think, again, it's down to personal preference. But 56,000 miles, so obviously the car's out of warranty now. I mean, probably not because it's Tesla's car, but you know, if it was your own car, if you were buying this car, 56,000 miles, it's over 50,000 miles, even though it's less than 4 years old, so it's out of Tesla's warranty, so you have to take the extended warranty, but it still drives a really fantastic car. I mean, the one thing that I was actually most impressed of is the Autopilot. So obviously this is AP1, and there's many debates online whether AP1 is better than AP2 and all that sort of thing. I think definitely now AP2 is better than AP1, especially in the US, because you now have navigating autopilot and stuff like that. But it drove so well on the motorway. I feel like the update I just got on autopilot just recently has really increased how well autopilot works on my car, and this car was equally as good on the motorway. It was really, really good. The main thing I noticed really was, because it doesn't have those side cameras, I had some more blind spot issues where it couldn't see cars on the dash that were next to me. So obviously I could see them with my eyes, but the car couldn't see them. So obviously that's why AP2 is definitely an improvement. Also on the dash, it sees cars differently. The images, I say they're more detailed. In my version, it's just like a car shape, whereas it just looks like a picture have more clarity. It's hard to explain really, but and the other thing that was really good that I think is a patented by Mobileye, which is why Tesla don't have it, is on my AP2 car, when I moved from like a 16 to a 30, that 30 reduction doesn't happen straight away as I cross the border. I think it's done by GPS. But the Mobileye reads the sign. So literally as I crossed that threshold into the 30, straight down to 30 it went, which is really good. So I'm hoping that Tesla can do things with the AP2 system over time. But yeah, that was it. Just really a quick video to show you the 2016 Tesla Model S. If you're thinking about buying one, I still think it is a good car. The reason why this car feels a bit old to me is because I feel like, for me, that the brown wooden dash makes it just feel a bit older inside, but everything else actually feels really good. Yeah, I do feel like the seat quality and the materials feel a bit worn, but again, I think that's because being a loaner, it's not loved and cherished, it's a workhorse, right? So, but I think with a good detail and a nice clean, it'd be a lot better. So that's it. Hopefully it helped. I did just notice when I was getting in the car, one different thing at the back that I'll just show you. I just noticed the rear kind of underskirt is slightly different on this model than mine, but I'll just show you for completeness.
Oh look, a little bit of catches on the back there. But yeah, on my car, this doesn't have this chrome centerpiece. It's kind of a flusher kind of lower strip. So again, not very important, but I thought I'd share it.
Okay, so another thing that I realised is on this slightly older car, when I open up the charge port, it doesn't work just to push it like that. It's not automated. I can press and hold the button to eject it like I can on my car, or you can obviously do that from inside the car, but it's not motorised, so it won't automatically close. And also the charging lights are here as opposed to a ring round on mine, so something to have people aware of. So I think my conclusion really for this video is, if you're thinking about buying a slightly cheaper, older, used Tesla Model S, something like one of these 2016 Tesla Model S's is really good. And if you really are that fussed about the exterior, there are some aftermarket options to kind of change that front so it looks a bit more like the facelift model, but it's about £4,000 or something. So I did consider it when I was thinking about getting a slightly older one. So do a bit of research and make some informed purchasing decisions, but that's it. Thanks for watching this video. A thumbs up would be really appreciated. If you're interested in other geek type videos, please consider subscribing to Spectrum Geeks. Why not also follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And before you leave, why don't you check out one of these other videos that may be of interest. Thanks again for watching.